Shall we start? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما وبعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم شر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Tonight inshallah I'm going to talk about Surah At-Takweer. Surah At-Takweer is a Makki surah, 29 ayahs, and according to many Mufassirin, it is one of the earliest surahs revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. And if we remember what we said before, that the Quran during the Makki time concentrated on three things. The first thing, Tawheed Allah Azza wa Jal, Nubuwwat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the second, and Al-Ba'ath, the third. So these are the main subjects that you'll find the Makki Quran spoke about. Spoke about Tawheed Allah Azza wa Jal because these people at that time, they used to worship different gods. And not only in Mecca, but in other places. So they have the idols, some people worshipping the Shams, the sun, the stars, people in Persia worshipping in the fire, and the Christians, they are saying Isa alayhi salam, the son of God or God. So there is a problem there with the Tawheed. So one of the important things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes to clarify in these ayahs that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam reciting to these people is to establish this fact. The fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one and the only. The second is to prove that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a prophet. Because these people, they accuse Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam with all the things you can imagine or you might not imagine. So they said he's sha'ar, poet, majmoon, crazy, sahir, magician, kadhab, liar. So all these things they described in Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They said that someone is teaching him. وَقَالُوا إِنَّمَا يُعَلِّمُهُ بَشَرٌ. So there is many accusation against the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in these ayahs, He likes to confirm the fact that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a prophet. And what he is reciting is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because the two things related together. And every prophet came to the human being, he's saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told me this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to me this. Either in a book like Musa alayhi salam, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Dawood, Isa, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, or he said to them straight away that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked me to do this, like Salih, Hud, Shu'aib, Lut, other prophets. So, but all of them, they are saying what? They are saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to them so and so. Remember this fact, brothers, that النبوة والوحي, they are together. Because if there is no wahi, there is no nubuwah. You see the point? Yani, a man comes to the people and say, I am a prophet. They will ask him, okay, tell us how you are a prophet. He will say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to me wahi. He sent to me a messenger or inspired me. But if someone, he said, well, it came to my mind, I just was asleep, I woke up, and I thought, I have to say these things. No, it doesn't work. He cannot be a prophet, he cannot be a messenger. So, in nubuwa, wal risala, wal wahi, all these things together. So remember, in Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he has to talk about Tawheed. He has to talk about the the prophethood, and he has to talk about the resurrection. Because if there is no resurrection, no Yawm al-Qiyamah, there is no point of all of these things. Yes, organizing the life of the people is important. There is no doubt about this. But the people, you can talk to them day and night about the beauty of the rules and the impact on them and these things. But if there is no reward or punishment, the people, they don't care. They don't think too much about it. Yes, they might benefit directly from it. But when they know that there is a punishment, then the people, or reward, obviously, then they will be so interested in that. And this is Yawm al-Qiyamah. Yawm al-Qiyamah, there will be adab, punishment for those who rejected Allah's orders, and there will be a reward for those who followed Allah's orders. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make all of us among them. Allahumma ameen. So the three subjects that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he need to talk about, but obviously he doesn't speak from himself. He is receiving the instructions from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This surah talks about the three things. Talks about the Tawheed Allah Azza wa Jal, talks about the Nubuwwat al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and al-Wahi, and also talks about the Day of Judgment, which is make this surah a unique surah. In the first 14 ayahs, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about events which will happen on the Day of Judgment. And the scholars, when they came to these ayahs, I can say most of them agreed that this will happen just before Yawm al-Qiyamah. So all these things that the change in the sun and the seas and the mountains and all of these things, just before Yawm al-Qiyamah. Because if Yawm al-Qiyamah is happening, there is no point of all of these things. So the changes will happen, which will happen to the sun and the moon and the stars and the seas and the earth and the mountains. All of these things will happen just before the Day of Judgment. Then will become a sayha, the blowing the trumpet, everything will finish. So let us talk about the first part. So, as I said, the first part is about these things. The second part is oaths that Nabi Muhammad is a prophet and he is receiving the message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then the last part of the surah talks about Mashi'atillah Azza wa Jal, that Allah's will, and that this dhikr, this reminder, will be for those who like to follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the first part talking about the two things, about Tawheed and about Yawm al-Qiyamah. So, as I said, we have 14 ayahs. And in these 14 ayahs, there is 13 idha. And it is, I can say, the only surah that you'll find 13 idha coming after each other. Idha. And idha, mostly in the Quran, talks about the future. And id talks about the past. So when you read the Quran, you'll find in Surah Al-Baqarah, for example, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about Musa alayhi salam and the Jews, he said, وَإِذْ بَعَثْنَا فِيهِمْ وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ وَإِذْ. So, إِذْ means what?
Future.
Past. إِذَا means
Future.
the future. And here we can see, as the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in a hadith, إذا أردتم أو كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا أردتم القيامة رأي العين فاقرأوا سورة التكوير, سورة الانفطار, سورة الانشقاق. If you'd like to see القيامة as you see it in front of you, then read the Shams Kuwirat, the Sama Fatarat, and also the Sama, these three surahs. So, alhamdulillah, we've done Surah Al-Inshiqaq, we've done Infitar. So, in this surah, we can see the whole image, inshaAllah ta'ala. What is the first thing here? Is the Shams Kuwirat. When the sun is rolled down. Now, the Mufassirin, when they came to this, they have different says. I'll just read to you some of what they said, rahimahullah ta'ala. Ali ibn Abi Talib, radiallahu anhu, or Ali ibn Abi Talha, reported from Ibn Abbas, when the sun is kuwirat, this means it will be darkened. Al-Awfi reported from Ibn Abbas, it will go away. Qatada said, its light will go away. Sa'id ibn Jubayr said, kuwirat means it will sink in. Abu Salih said, kuwirat means it will be thrown down. At-Takweer means to gather one part of something with another part of it, i.e. folding, and from it comes the folding of the turban, al-umam. So, from all these meanings mentioned by Al-Allama ibn Kathir rahimahullah ta'ala, we can see, talks about the change of the status of the sun. Now the sun, all of us, we see it every day, and all the world benefit from it on a daily basis. Now when this sun ordered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to vanish, then something will happen to it. So, if you remember, السماء in itself, the sky, will be split. The السماء انشقت or the السماء انفطرت. Now, Shams is part of the السماء. Shams, the sun, is part of the sky. Now, we learned in the other surahs, in Infitar and Inshiqaq, that the sky in itself will split. And if you remember what I said in the previous lesson, that this means that the whole system will collapse. So part of this will be that the sun will be folded, will be wrapped away, and they link this to Takweer al-Umama. Al-Umama means the turban. So when you bring one side and start doing like this, so this means you change the shape of that sheet from spread sheet, to something will be now circle. So Shams now, obviously we see, the size that we see is very small, but actually it is so big. It's not big. It will not heat the whole earth. The idea is that the system now started to change to say that Yawm al-Qiyamah is coming. إذا الشمس كورت. Now, around the Shams, what do we have? Stars. وإذا النجوم انكدرت. Now, these stars link to the sun. So, when the stars are dim, or we can say it loses its light. So these stars now, which we see when we look at night, we see, mashallah, tens or hundreds. Now what do you think?
Trillions.
Huh? Billions, trillions? What do you think, students? The students, what do you think? What you learn at school? Are they tens, hundreds, or thousands?
Trillions.
Millions, trillions? And if someone start to count them, you will spend maybe
all his life.
2-3 weeks while you are, and if you count, then you lose where you started. You cannot. So all these nujum, all these stars, which gives you light, and they are very important. Yes, because now we have the cars and we have the navigation and all of these things. We don't understand the importance of it. But in the past, they cannot walk without the stars, because they know this is where they call it Thuraya, and this is al-Mizan. They have names for these big stars, and they know if they say this one, this means that it is the east, this is the west, this is the north, this is the south, and all the ships in the sea, they use this for direction. This is when you are in the middle of the sea, what you can see at night? You only see the sky, subhanAllah. So to know where you are heading, so this is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَعَلَامَاتْ وَبِالنَّجْمِ هُمْ يَهْتَدُونَ. And there is signs, and by these stars, they are guided, so they know where they are going. But all these stars will finish. وَإِذَا الْجِبَالُ سُيِّرَتْ. Al-Jibal means mountain. And when the mountains are set in motion. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He spoke to us about Al-Jibal in many ayahs in the Quran. In Surah Taha, for example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْجِبَالِ فَقُلْ يَنْسِفُهَا رَبِّي نَسْفًا فَيَذَرُهَا قَاعًا صَفْصَفًا لَا تَرَى فِيهَا عِوَجًا وَلَا أَمْتًا. They ask you about the mountains, say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will blow them up. And so it will be قاعا صفصفا, that one flat place. And that flat place, you don't have any crookedness, and there isn't any heights or downs. And this is why the scholars, they are saying the earth that the hisab will be on it is different from this earth. That earth has no mountains, no seas, nothing. It is only one earth. Subhanallah. So, al-jibal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also said about it in Surah Al-Qari'ah, يوم يكون الناس كالفراش مبثوث وتكون الجبال كالعهن المنفوش. So the mountains will be like wool. Yeah? So there will be, it goes through stages, how these mountains, because you know now, if they like to establish a road between Aylesbury and London, okay, there is roads, but they're like, they say, okay, maybe the road between Aylesbury and London now 20 miles, we'd like to make it 10 miles, so they have to blow some mountains in the way. Look, the effort they are making, the bulldozers and the dynamite and all, they will spend millions, if it is not billions, just to move few mountains. Subhanallah. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He decides to finish this earth, He would say, Kun fayakun. So, these mountains, this massive mountain, if you travel and over Europe and you look how massive the mountains in many areas, you say, subhanallah. These mountains, which is a sign of the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all these mountains will blow up in seconds. Nothing, as it didn't happen. Now, the mountains is very important now. Why we need the mountains?
Stable.
Yeah, stable. وَالْجِبَالَ أَوْتَادًا. But there, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is changing the whole system, we don't need them anymore. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is flattening the earth. There is totally new thing. So الجبال سيرت وإذا العشار عطلت. And when the camels, the pregnant camels, are neglected. Now we have to remember, brothers, that the Quran revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Arabic, and the people who are listening to the Holy Quran, they have a lot of ideas, and there are things they are related to. One of the most important things for the Arab person at that time is the camel. The camel is very important in their life, especially الناقة. الناقة means the she camel, because الناقة, from it will come the new generation. Because yes, there is the male is there, but what shall they do with them? If they have 100 males, what they will do with them? Huh? They just eat and drink. They don't do anything. But the she camel, this is where the money. So this is why, at that time and even now, if you'd like to go to the market of the camels, the she camel worth 1,000, but the male camel maybe 100 pounds or 500 pounds. Because one male, can be enough to 100 female. So why they need him only for the pregnancy. Other than was no. And so they love the she-camel in Naqa. And you'll find in the poetry, there is a lot talking about it, and they are giving it many names and all of these things. And when it's pregnant, it takes 1 year. And during this 1 year, they are watching, because they like to be sure that it will give birth to a new camel. When they become more interested in it and love it so much, when it reaches 10 months, 10. So when it reaches 10 months, now okay, only 2 months left. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَإِذَا الْعِشَارُ عُطِّلَتْ. At that time, these camels, which is very important to them, and the Arab will not leave it, they will neglect it. They don't care about it. Why? Because there is something more important now. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Hajj, يوم تذهل كل مرضعة عما أرضعت وتضع كل ذات حمل حملها وترى الناس سكارى وما هم بسكارى ولكن عذاب الله شديد. That the one the lady who's breastfeeding, she will be unaware of her baby. And the one who's pregnant, she will lose her baby. And you think that people, they are drunk, but they are not drunk. But the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is severe. So this, to show you, especially as I said to you, the Arab listeners at that time, who are attached to the camels, which is one important source of income for them, and it means also, or it is a sign of the wealth. And someone, he has 1,000 camels, he is billionaire at that time, and even these days. وَإِذَا الْوُحُوشُ حُشِرَتْ. When the beasts are gathered. Now, al-wahsh in Arabic, when they say wahsh, means the wild animals, or the animals which cannot live with you in the house. So we know that the sheep, the camel, the cows, the birds, some of the birds, and so they call it alif, pets. They can live with you. Other than that, they are wuhush. They live in the forest, in the desert, and all of these places. So this means, again, there is a change in the whole system, because this wuhush, these wild animals, are everywhere, and even if you go to the jungle, you will not bring them together in one place. You will find some tigers there and some monkeys there, and so. But on that day, all of them will be brought together. Means, as I said to you, the whole system is changing. وَإِذَا الْبِحَارُ سُجِّرَتْ. And when the oceans are set aflame. Now, I mentioned some of this in the previous lesson. There is 2 ayahs in the Quran spoke about the seas and used this word sujjarat or sajar. Sajar means that when you put something in flames. The first ayah in Surah At-Tur, وَالْبَحْرِ الْمَسْجُورِ. يرحمك. And this ayah number 6 of Surah At-Takweer, وَإِذَا الْبِحَارُ سُجِّرَتْ. Now, when you look at it, how it works. Now, if there is a fire, what we used to put it down? Water. But now here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, there is bahar, there is sea, but this sea is in flames. Subhanallah, how? Why this? Now, the old scholars spoke about it in some way, and now they are talking about it in a different way. The old scholars, they said that this will happen on the Day of Judgment, that there will be flames and fires in the seas. Now, there is many researches proved that in certain areas of the seas, now at this minute, there are fires in the bottom of the seas and in certain areas. And I remember I read a study talking about certain areas, and one of them is in the Red Sea. And link this with what the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said about the signs of the Day of Judgment, that there will be a fire comes from Al-Hijaz and تسوق الناس إلى محشرهم, push the people to the gathering place. Now Hijaz, where is the Saudi Arabia now, and the Red Sea is there, so you can link the two things together. But even if we didn't discover this, we believe in it for two things. The first thing, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that. Secondly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to us here that He's not changing the seas only. He's changing the whole system. Which is bigger, the seas or the stars? Stars. So if the stars will vanish, if the sun will vanish, is the sky will split? No. Is it difficult for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make these seas now to be in flames? It's easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِذَا النُّفُوسُ زُوِّجَتْ, and when the souls are paired. Now the first tazweej, we can say, is between the bodies and the souls. Yes. Now, there is a journey, brothers. The journey starts after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creates a person. So, man marry a woman, then they have this relation, and from that relation there is nutfa now, and after that, in 4 months, there is a malak. We don't know who is that malak, but this malak came or will come and blow the ruh in that body. So before the 4 months, that body was only flesh. After the 4 months, this body becomes now what? Soul, human being. And this soul and the body continues together. 5 years, 10 years, 50, 60, 100. Then a certain malak comes. Not any malak, one malak. Who's that? Malakul. قُلْ يَتَوَفَّاكُمْ مَلَكُ الْمَوْتِ الَّذِي وُكِّلَ بِكُمْ. Now Malak al-Maut will come to you and take that soul. Then the body is there. And they said about a Bedouin, his camel died. And he saw the camel after the camel died. The camel is there. The body is there, and he said, "What happened to you? You were you're walking and making noise and these things. Look, you are only a body. What happened to you? And subhanAllah, you'll find a man or a woman, maybe big and all of these things. When he died, he changed to be a body. And the people come and wash him and carry him and all of these things. Doesn't do anything. He doesn't say to them, don't bury me here, no, bury me there, or I don't want to die. Why you are putting me in this hole and all of these? We can't do anything. Subhanallah. So, the first link between tazweej, this one, is zawaj al-ruh bil-jasad. The link between the soul and the body. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in many places in the Quran. And here where it comes, one of the things, as I said to you, one of the objectives of this surah is to talk about the resurrection. Now during this journey, some people, they use this journey to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they go to the masjid, they read Quran, they do righteous deeds. And some, they forget the purpose of their life and they don't think about al-akhirah at all. The only thing occupies their mind all the time, dunya, 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 dunya. Then they die and leave all this dunya behind them. They don't take even 1p. Have you seen a person that when they die and wash him and put these sheets, white sheets, they say, Wallahi, this person, he might need something, take 20 pounds with you to the grave, or 10 pounds. No. No one will take anything. Despite maybe the day before he was working hard to bring some money to the house. But all this money will be there. If they are righteous people, then they will divide the wealth according to the Sharia. And if they are nasty people, then they start to fight over it. And when he said, this is my money. I was the one who's helping him and looking after him and all of this. I need the money. And you'll hear stories in the courts and all of these things. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save all of us from that.
Ameen.
So, my advice to myself and to you, brothers, that think about that minute. Think about this journey. The journey of your soul. When your soul is linked to your body, use this journey as much as you can to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because this soul will leave you one day. And you'll link together on the day of judgment. Then on that day, you start saying, Ya laytani, Ya laytani, Ya laytani. I wish. Why you wish? Do it now. Who's stopping you? Really, who's stopping you? If you'd like to give zakah, who's stopping you from giving zakah? If you'd like to pray, who's stopping you from praying? If you'd like to be the best person on earth, who stops you from being the best person? No one. But it's us who are weak, following our desires, wasting our time, wasting our life. We don't use our life in the right way. It's our problem. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help all of us to utilize our life to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma ameen. And the ayat and the hadith also talking about different ways of this tazweej. which is to bring the peoples who follow the prophets together. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told us that there will be signs. So the people of Musa will be there, the people of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will be there, people of Ibrahim will be there. And he said some prophets will have few rajul wa rajulan, one or two people, and some tens, some hundreds, some thousands. And also, as the Mufassirin said in Surah Al-Zalzala, أشتاتا ليروا أعمالهم, they said أشتات in groups according to their deeds. So the gamblers will be together, those who are committing zina together, those who use the thieves will be together. فالعياذ بالله رب العالمين. آية 8 وإذا الموءودة سئلت, when the girl buried alive is asked. So what's الموءودة? The word الموءودة came from the verb وأد. وأد is from when there is a heavy item and you must bear it. And we'll find in Ayat al-Kursi, وَلَا يَؤُودُهُ حِفْظُهُمَا وَهُوَ الْعَلِيُّ الْعَظِيمُ. What's the meaning وَلَا يَؤُودُهُ حِفْظُهُمَا? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not a burden on Him to keep the whole world going. Al-Maw'uda came from the word that what they used to do. What's al-Maw'uda? The Arab, unfortunately, before Islam, they have some bad customs. And one of them, they used to bury the girls alive. For two reasons. One reason, because of poverty. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned this in the Quran. He said, وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ مِنْ إِمْلَاقٍ نَحْنُ نَرْزُقُكُمْ وَإِيَّاهُمْ. And he said, وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ خَشْيَةَ إِمْلَاقٍ نَحْنُ نَرْزُقُهُمْ وَإِيَّاكُمْ. And the scholars, they said there's i'jaz in these two ayahs. What's the i'jaz? In the first one, وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ مِنْ إِمْلَاقٍ means that you are already in poverty. So who's the concern? Yourself or your children now? Huh? Yourself. So he said, نَحْنُ نَرْزُقُكُمْ, you and them. In Surah Al-Isra, وَلَا تَقْتُلُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ خَشْيَةَ إِمْلَاقٍ, fear of poverty. So this means that you are not in poverty now, but you are thinking that you might be poor if you have children. In this case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, نَحْنُ نَرْزُقُهُمْ, will provide them, then you. So this is how the order of the words in the Quran. And this, and it takes me to give advice to all the brothers. You'll find, became common these days. Yes, there are people, when it comes to children, alhamdulillah, they might have 2, 4, 6, doesn't matter. And there are people saying 1, 2. So when they have a boy, they say, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us a girl. So when they have the girl, they say, stop. We don't need any more. Why? I need to look after them, I need to teach them, and my income is very limited. So if they are 3, where can I feed them? 4, 5, 6. Subhanallah al-Azim. Yani, it is consensus among the scholars that any organizing for the family because of poverty is haram. Yani, you can say, okay, I have this child and I can wait 2-3 years until I have the other one. Okay. There's different opinions, but some scholars, they call it tanzim, yani organize it, just because you need to have a space, give the mother a space and all of these things, but not because of poverty or fear of poverty. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to you, نحن نرزقهم وإياكم. Who's giving the rizq? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, if you think that you will not have rizq when you have a third child, if you have two, this means that you don't believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a razzaq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a razzaq, not you. And you don't know. Maybe if these two, 1 and 2, they are not so benefit for you, they are not helping, maybe the third one will be the one who will look after you when you grow up. I've seen a case. I've seen it. Not someone told me about it. That a person, he had few boys and 2 girls. The first girl got married, and the second didn't get married. And then the mother became ill. So she needs someone to look after her. Who was looking after her? The girl. 3 years or 4 years that lady was in bed, and she needs full assistance and help. Then the mother died. Now, then the father also was in poor health. Who is looking now after the father in the poor health? The girl. And this continued until the father passed away, I think 4 years after his wife. Then subhanallah, 1 year after that girl got married. So someone came and said, okay, well, I heard that you have a girl, and at that time she was 45, something like this. Subhanallah al-Azim. Look how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala choose for that girl that she's not married, because there are 2 persons, they need her to look after them. Now when they die, khalas, the need is finished, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's Hakim, He's the all ones, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now, instead of keeping her, now looking after herself, and maybe there is no one to support her, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to her a man, and he looked after her. Subhanallah. So, you don't know why I'm mentioning this, because the mentality of some brothers and sisters, that 2 akhi is enough, I cannot cope. But maybe the 3rd one or the 4th one will be the one who will look after you when you need the person to look after you and to help you and all of these things. And I'm sure maybe many of you know examples how a certain only one from the family you'll find looking after his parents. The others, they are busy, or they are saying, oh, I need to look after my family. But you'll find one, and in many cases, a girl, she is the one who's looking after the parents, especially when they become old, if she's married or not married. So this is the first reason why the Arab used to kill their daughters. The second reason was because of dignity. One of the problems of the Arab at that time, that say there's Aylesbury, what's the next town here?
Tame is next town, yeah.
Okay. So you'll find the people of Aylesbury, they are fine on these things. And then the other town, they became, this is what used to happen. They don't have money, they don't have food. So what they will do, okay, they say, oh, Aylesbury people, mashallah, they have food, they have sheep, they have things. So at night, they prepare themselves, attack them, take what they can from the food, kill some people, and any girls they meet, they take them. And these girls, either they take them themselves as slaves, or marry them. So the Arab, some of them, they say, why I need a girl that if there is a war, she cannot defend herself and she will be a hostage, then either she will be a slave or a wife of another man. I don't know him and there is nothing. Let me get rid of her because before this happened. So these are the two reasons. And it was a custom which is many of the people, they are practicing it. And by the way, the story about Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, that he did that to one of his girls is not true. It's not authentic. And you'll find in some books, and they say Umar al-Khattab was walking and he cried in a place. And they said, why? He said, because I done this to my daughter in this place. This is not authentic. But did this happen in Mecca? Yes, it happened in Mecca for many, many people. So they call this al-Wa'd. And the girl who is buried alive called al-Maw'uda. And what they used to do, either they bury her after the birth, so they will say, they wait until the news comes about the birth. They don't go and they have to be there, see what's happening. No. This is out of the question. They wait for the news. So if the news is a boy, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin, everything's fine. If the news is the girl, you'll find them, either they take the girl and bury her straight away, or some of them, they will say, okay, leave her. Then if they notice that the security is unstable in that area, they said, I don't want this. So he will ask her mom to prepare her and nice clothes and all of these things, and see, I'm taking you to visit or something. And he pre-planned dig a hole and all of these things. So when they come to that, just push her, and he has 2-3 people, they put the rubble on it and finish. So this is Maw'ud. Now look how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about this in the Quran. He didn't say, and we'll ask the fathers about the crime they committed. No, he used the passive to ask. He said, وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ. So سَأَلَ is active verb. سُئِلَ is passive verb. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even He's ignoring asking the parents. So these parents is so low in their way of thinking, to the extent that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want to mention them in that position. He doesn't ask them why you did that. No. The girl herself will be asked. بأي ذنب قتلت? What crime was she killed? And subhanallah, what is the crime she committed? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in ayah 10, وَإِذَا الصُّحُفُ نُشِرَتْ. And when their records are made public. Now Suhuf, as you know, brothers, mentioned in many places in the Quran. And we came across that when we spoke about Surah Al-Inshiqaq, if you remember. That two records, فَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ فَسَوْفَ يُحَاسَبُ حِسَابًا يَسِيرًا وَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ وَرَاءَ ظَهْرِهِ فَسَوْفَ يَدْعُو ثُبُورًا. So, in many places Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about this. Now here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what He's saying the suhuf nushra, made public. Now what's the point of making the records public? For the believers, the good people, they're happy. Now, your son or your daughter, if they have excellent report from the school, if there is parents' evening, for example, and that report, mashallah, A's and B's, and so the son or the daughter, he likes to show it to the father, to the mother, to uncle, auntie, even to Aylesbury, even to put it in front of the house. So everyone will say, mashallah. And all of his report A's, mashallah. So he likes everyone to know. Why? Because he's happy with that. So nushirat for him is advantage, something he likes. And this is why in Surah Al-Haqqa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ فَيَقُولُ هَاؤُمُ اقْرَءُوا كِتَابِيَهْ. So, this is my book, read it. So he is proud of that. Now, those who are, their records are bad, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save all of us from that. They don't want anyone to see it. But as part of the punishment and the embarrassment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show to the people. It will be public. And wallahi, brothers, this is something scares me a lot. Scares me that we are trying in this dunya to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we are doing mistakes, committing sins and all of these things. In the dunya, if we commit any sin, we don't want anyone to talk about it. Even your wife or the husband or son or daughter or the neighbor. We don't want anyone to talk about this. But on the day of judgment, you cannot hide anything. It is in front of the people. This must make all of us think all the time when the shaitan comes and play with your mind. Think about that day. Think about وَإِذَا الصُّحُفُ نُشِرَتْ. You are, mashallah, a righteous person. The people think good about you. And your deeds there, your records there, he was doing this, he was doing that, he was doing that, he was cheating, he was doing this. The people, they don't know about it. And one of the things these days destroying a lot of families is this internet and the WhatsApp and the Facebook and the Twitter and the Snapchat and all of these things. Because it opened the doors which was closed. When I was young in Palestine or Jordan, if your father knows, just someone say, Ahmed spoke to that girl, that day will be the worst day. Even just you say Assalamu alaikum. Why do you say Assalamu alaikum to them? Why? You don't have sisters? You don't have this? and a big lecture, and after the lecture, so you don't know the slaps and the kicks and where it comes. Just to say Assalamu alaikum. And I know, we used to go to the school, and that school was about 2 kilometers from the house. So boys and girls walk. So you will find on the right side the boys, on the left side the girls. Even in the way school, there's no mix. I remember even when I was near 11, I used to go by bus to Amman. So if you go in the bus to sit next to a student, everyone starts looking at you. What are you doing? Why you are sitting next to the girl? No. Even if you are sitting and the girl comes, you stand up and sit down and you stand up. Because this wasn't acceptable. But now, no one talking about these things. That there is a boy, he has Facebook, and you see, you look at his friends. Who's this? Where are all these guys from? And the same, boys or girls. Snapchat, they are taking these snaps in all the occasions. Embarrassing. No one embarrassed from anything these days. No one. So the people, they think that that's fun. That's I'd like the people to see what I am doing. So this is why I'm talking about this thing. I advise myself, I advise the brothers, advise the young people. Think about this. Think about the Day of Judgment. You can hide in this life yourself from your parents or from your wife, or the wife can hide from her husband. When I try to help families, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, in their marriage and when there is problems, and one of the main problems, she will say, I found in his telephone messages. And some of them, they admitted, yes, I spoke to ladies, I betrayed her, I done something, I didn't. And you are married and you go into these haram things. So, we need to think careful about this. وَإِذَا الصُّحُفُ نُشِرَتْ وَإِذَا السَّمَاءُ كُشِطَتْ. And when the sky is peeled away. And this is one of the description of how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will change the status of the sky. And we spoke about it in Surah Al-Infitar. Now all these things happened now. The Day of Judgment happened, or Yawm al-Qiyamah. And what will be there? Will be Jannah and Nar. Hellfire and Paradise. The hellfire now will start to be ready to take the people. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, when the fire is set ablaze. Now the fire, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save all of us from it, is ready for those who rejected Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this dunya. And the Jannah now will be brought forward as a sign of takreem, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes to give privilege to these people who followed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this dunya. The final ayah in this, عَلِمَتْ نَفْسٌ مَا أَحْضَرَتْ. Now, all these events happened. Yawm al-Qiyamah happened. Jannah there. And Nar is there. Then each soul will know what it has done. What has brought forward. So you have all your deeds with you because as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Isra, اقرأ كتابك كفى بنفسك اليوم عليك حسيبا. Read your book. It is enough that for you that you are reading your book. No one is reading it for you. You are reading it. You judge yourself. Allahumma inna nas'aluka ar-rahmah on that day. Then, so in these ayahs, as I said, the brothers, in these 14 ayahs, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about these events, and we know all of this is a proof of Tawheed. How is a proof of Tawheed? Because all these things doesn't happen by itself. The Shams doesn't change by itself. The Nujum doesn't change by itself. The Bihar doesn't change by itself. Needs needs what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who will make the change. So this is where Tawheed in this. And we'll see the day of judgment. Now the next ayahs, there is 3 qasam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made 3 oaths. To talk about what? To talk about Nubuwah wa Risala, prophethood and the message. So he said, فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِالْخُنَّسِ, I swear by the galaxies, the stars. Al-Jawar al-Kunnas, precisely running their courses. This is one qasam. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا عَسْعَسْ, and by the night as it recedes. وَالصُّبْحِ إِذَا تَنَفَّسْ, and by the morning as it breathes. So 3 qasam. The first qasam, الخنس الجوار الكنس. الجوار الكنس is the description. Second, Layl, the night. The third qasam, Subh, the morning. Now for the first one, which is فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِالْخُنَّسِ, there is 2 main opinions among the scholars. The first opinion, they said al-khunnas because it's withdrawn. And they said it's the stars. Because you see the stars at night, but you don't see it during the day. When the sun comes, they disappear. Disappear from our side. Of course, they are there. But we cannot see it because of the light of the sun. Al-Jawar al-Kunnas, they are running, moving. And it's proved now that these stars are moving. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Waqi'ah, فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِمَوَاقِعِ النُّجُومِ, I made a qasam with the places of the stars. Means that what we see actually is not the star. What we see is the shining of the place of that star. And that star was there, and because it's away from us millions of years, so we still see the shining of it, but that star is finished. And those people who are working in this field, there is many proofs that now that these stars has a life. So this star will born in January, will die in January the next year, or January after 10 years, or these things. Why it is there? It, as I said, it will give the shining. Then when it disappears, because it is huge, the shining is still there from its place. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, مَوَاقِعَ النُّجُومِ. This, he didn't say فَلَا أُقْسِمُ بِالنُّجُومِ. And this is why we said al-Jawar, they are moving. They are born and dies and all of these things. This is one of the meanings. The other meanings, which is mentioned in the Tafseer also, it talks about the deers, the gazelle, which this is what they call it in Arabic, al-khunnas. Why? Because the small ones, when you have a place for them, they will stay in that place, and they don't go out until their mother comes and take them out. This is why they are khunnas, withdrawing from the sight of the people. When they go out, they are become now al-jawar al-khunnas. They are running here and there. So this is the two meanings. The majority of the scholars, they are going to the first meaning because they are saying the next two ayahs related to that. Why? Because ayah 17 saying وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا عَسْعَسْ, and by the night as it recedes. Al-layl, the night, is related to the stars. So you can understand the relation between the two things. And when this night finish, what will we have? Subh. So there is subh and there is fajr. And there is two fajr. The first fajr, which we'll see it from the east to the west, and is, as the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, al-kadhib, that not the true fajr. But the one between the north and the south is al-fajr al-sadiq, where it reflects that the sun now started rising, because the sun will be in a certain degree, 18 or 12 degrees. It depends on how the people say it. والصبح إذا تنفس. Now, there is some new research about this, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said الصبح إذا تنفس, the morning as breathes. So how the morning is breathing? And they said there is certain what's the word? Certain air or certain breeze. Only it's in the Fajr time. It doesn't exist in any part of the day or night other than the Fajr. And this will give the whole universe power and blessings. And that's why Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, بُورِكَ لِأُمَّتِي فِي بَكُورِهَا. So my ummah are blessed when they go to work early. And this was the custom in many places. I don't know about your areas, but I remember my father, rahmatullah alayhi, used to say to me, when they were in Palestine, the day starts after Fajr. So they pray Fajr and they go to work, especially the farms, and they try to finish the main part of the work before the sun becomes hot. So maybe at duha. That time is the best time because it's not hot, still there is breeze and all of these things. Then after that they have their breakfast and all of these things and they relax. Then they do the second part after Asr, when the sun becomes now low, so then the heat will become down. And so this is, you can see I am sure you notice this. So when the Fajr starts, you'll hear these deek, the roosters, shout. The birds, when you hear the sounds of the birds, you hear it in the morning. And during the day you don't hear it, but in the morning, all the earth, subhanallah, is celebrating the Fajr, except us. Not all of us, obviously, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. So, and this is, I take this opportunity to remind myself and all of you brothers, to be sure that you are there at that time when it is Salat al-Fajr. So to go to the masjid, pray Fajr Jama'ah, because this really gives you a great blessings. This is the fact. There is no doubt about it. So these three oaths, for what? Ayah 19, إِنَّهُ لَقَوْلُ رَسُولٍ كَرِيمٍ. This is the speech of a noble messenger. And this ayah and what the descriptions after that is talking about one person. And that person is not person. It talks about Jibreel alayhi salam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described him by 6 things. The first thing, Rasul. Second thing, Kareem. Thirdly, ذي قوة عند ذي العرش مكين. مطاع. Ameen. Then مطاع. Then Ameen. So these 6 things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described Jibreel alayhi salam. And then this ayah 19, some people misunderstand it. And they said, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that the Quran is the saying of Jibreel? Yeah? Because it says, قَوْلُ رَسُولٍ كَرِيمٍ. But if you look at the ayah in itself, the ayah in itself is wipe out this misunderstanding. How? The ayah didn't say إِنَّهُ لَقَوْلُ جِبْرِيلٍ. Because if the ayah said إِنَّهُ لَقَوْلُ جِبْرِيلٍ, maybe you think, yes, maybe Jibreel said that. But the ayah said إِنَّهُ لَقَوْلُ what? Rasul. And the Rasul, does he bring the message from himself or from the one who sent him? Yeah? Yani, if Brother Ubayd sent Anis to Brother Yasser, say to him, we need to go somewhere. So the words that Anis will say to Yasser will be Anis' words or Ubayd's words? Yeah? Because he is now a messenger. So the messenger is delivering the message of the sender. And in this case, we know al-malaika, all of them, لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون. They don't disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what He is saying to them, and they are saying what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered them. So the ayah in itself saying that the words that Jibreel alayhi salam delivered to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is from Allah. He is only what? Messenger. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described him as Kareem. Al-Kareem, one of the meanings of it means that it's generous. But also Kareem means unique, high. So generosity is part of that. To give is part of that. But Kareem also means that he's high. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described the angels that they are Kareem in one place. He said, في صحف مكرمة مرفوعة مطهرة بأيدي سفرة كرام بررة. So when he spoke about the angels, he said Kiram. And even the women who invited to the wife of the Aziz, when they saw Yusuf, they said, ما هذا بشرا إن هذا إلا ملك كريم. So they describe him as an angel, but they put Kareem. So you'll find in many places in the Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He described the angels, He described them with this Kareem. That they are unique. They have the highest qualities. ذي قوة. Now, ذي قوة is very important. Why? Because if this angel is not strong enough, he cannot bear delivering the Quran from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He needs to be strong to be able to do that, because he is receiving the words from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So to be able to deliver this message, he must be very strong. And he is عند ذي العرش مكين, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the power. مطاع ثم أمين, obeyed and honest. Because in many hadith that the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that he is the leader of the malaika, Angel Jibreel. So he's muta', obeyed, and ameen. This is very important. Now remember that the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is reciting these words, brothers, to the Kuffar Quraysh. So all this description is very important for them, because they used to say that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is making this Quran from himself. Someone is telling him. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to them, no, this is not true. Every word that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying to you, it came through this messenger, Jibreel, and he is Kareem. He has power. He is obeyed, and he's Ameen. He's Ameen. He doesn't change any word. So every single word that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to him, he will deliver to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam also Ameen. When you look in the Quran, there are many ayahs advising Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not Ameen, why he recite to us Abasa wa Tawalla? Why he is reciting to us Afa Allahu an kalima adinta lahum? There is many places in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directing Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, asking Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, why you did that? If Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not Ameen, all these words will not exist in the Quran that we are reading. So the words from Allah carried by Ameen Jibreel alayhi salam, then carried by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, in these ayahs, قول رسول كريم ذي قوة عند ذي العرش مكين مطاع ثم أمين, spoke about what? The Quran. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the next ayahs, He talks about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The first thing He said, وَمَا صَاحِبُكُمْ بِمَجْنُونَ. Your friend is not possessed. And when you think about it, is this praising or establishing a fact? Because if I introduce a person and say, this is brother Ali or Mustafa or thing, and he's not crazy, you see what you are talking about. But in this regard, this was important. Why do you think it was important?
Because they accused him of being mad.
Yeah, because they accused Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They accused Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Bihi jinnah, he's crazy. And they said he's majnoon. They said that. And even in the famous story, which is authentic, when I think Utbah bin Rabi'ah went to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and spoke to him, and he gave him the offers. He said to him, if you need money, we'll give you money. If you need to be a king, we'll make you a king. Then he said to him, if you are suffering from something possessed, we'll find someone to cure you. So this idea was in their mind. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to them, look, what He's saying to you is not from Him. This is number one. You need to understand this. Number two, that the one who's talking to you is not crazy. Then he'd like now to link between Jibreel and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَلَقَدْ رَآهُ بِالْأُفُقِ الْمُبِينِ. Because al-majnoon, the one who's crazy, he might see jinns or shayateen or something that they might affect him. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying he saw him. So whom? Jibreel. He saw him on the luminous horizon. And the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he saw Jibreel twice in his real shape. One, when after he came to him in the cave, that he looked and he can see that he is covering between the east and the west, and he has 600 wings. And the second time, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Najm, وَلَقَدْ رَآهُ نَزْلَةً أُخْرَى عند سدرة المنتهى. He saw him another time in Sidrat al-Muntaha, where he went to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the night of Mi'raj. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that he's not crazy, and the one who's taking from him, receiving from him, he saw him. So it is not something that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam doesn't know what he's talking about. وَمَا هُوَ عَلَى الْغَيْبِ بِضَنِينَ. And he does not withhold knowledge of the unseen. So the things that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling you, all the truth. He doesn't hide anything for himself. And this ayah is against the Sufi who is saying there is ilm batin and ilm zahir. Ilm batin means their secret, that only the awliya will know it. Those who reach certain status, they know it. But no, for us, we only know the normal knowledge. But only their awliya and how they talk about them and these things, they know al-ilm al-batin. So this means that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he betrayed the mission, he betrayed the risala. He didn't tell us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying about him, وَمَا هُوَ عَلَى الْغَيْبِ ضَنِينَ. Anything to do with the unseen and the message of these things, أدى الرسالة. This is what we believe, that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam أدى الرسالة وبلغ الأمانة صلى الله عليه وسلم. Then another confirmation. وَمَا هُوَ بِقَوْلِ شَيْطَانٍ رَجِيمٍ. And it is not the word of an accursed devil. So all these, to just blow up all these ideas that they have. It is from shaitan, it is from sahir, he's crazy, he doesn't know what he's talking about. No. So this is why these ayahs very important in proving the Risala of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to them, فَأَيْنَ تَذْهَبُونَ. So where are you heading now? Now all your batil, all your false statements been blown up. So what do you have now? He's not crazy. He knows the angels that he is receiving. This angel is Ameen. All of these statements that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned. And then he raised the status of the Quran. It is in huwa illa dhikrun lil alamin. It is only a reminder to all mankind. And we know the word al-alamin means everything exists. لمن شاء منكم أن يستقيم. And this ayah proving that we are not forced to do what we are doing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the opportunity, the will, that He showed us the right, He showed us the wrong, and we have to choose between right or wrong. If I choose the right, it is my choice. If I choose the wrong, it is my choice. But all the things which is going in the world is under the Mashi'a of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. But you cannot will unless Allah wills, the Lord of the worlds. So, لِمَنْ شَاءَ مِنْكُمْ أَنْ يَسْتَقِيمَ, to whoever of you wills to go straight. وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. But you cannot will unless Allah wills, the Lord of the worlds. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us with a free will, but we are all of us under the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because nothing in this world moves without Allah's will subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is, brothers, Surah At-Takweer. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make all of us among the people who listen and adhere, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make all of us among the people who will take these ayahs as a guidance in our life to prepare ourselves for the day of judgment. Allahumma ameen. Jazakumullah khairan for listening. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.